Each Advent, we remember the first Advent season, when two different people received news that led to a specific time of waiting for the arrival of a child. We usually only remember one, but in the first chapter of Luke, we read about the announcement of two pregnancies. The first announcement came to a very old priest named Zechariah. He and his wife Elizabeth had tried for many years, but were never able to have children, and now they had given up hope. But one day, an angel came to him and said that Elizabeth would become pregnant and give birth to a son, who would be named John. We know him as John the Baptist. 6 months later, in a nearby town, the angel Gabriel came to a young woman. Mary was a virgin, engaged to be married to a carpenter named Joseph. Gabriel told her that she would become pregnant and give birth to a son, whose name would be Jesus. Both of these babies were prophesied to live spectacular lives, but both of these pregnancies were impossible for biological reasons. Elizabeth's body was no longer able, and Mary's was not yet able. And these announcements received two different reactions. On first glance, they look fairly similar. Zechariah asks, "How will I know this is so?" And Mary asks, "How can this be?" Yet at the same time, we know there is something quite different about these questions. Zechariah's reaction is one of disbelief, but Mary accepts this news as a blessing. Perhaps we can understand the difference when we look at the two people. Zechariah is secure in his standing as a priest. He is accustomed to his station in life, and his identity is fully formed. Mary, on the other hand, is an adolescent. Physically, she is mature enough to be engaged, yet she has not quite entered her role in society as a woman. Zechariah's knowledge of what it already has been creates obstacles to accepting such a radical idea. Mary's lack of life experience concerns her, but she is more open to this crazy plan. These two babies, growing in impossible places, are main pictures of our Advent journey. In Romans 8, the Apostle Paul uses the language of pregnancy to describe the world as it is. He says that our whole world is groaning in labor pains, because all around us we see a world that is broken and hurting, but there is a longing in us for something new and beautiful, a world of peace, justice, and love. Paul gives us a word for this longing, this anticipation of what is to come: hope. Like we see evidence of a baby growing in its mom, but cannot see the baby, hope is always in something we cannot see. In Advent, we are asked to release our hearts to hope, to open ourselves to what we believe impossible, to allow God to be born in those parts of our lives where we are disappointed, where we think possibilities are cut off, where we feel hope has died. I invite you to spend some time this week asking yourself, where do you see something that is not right in our world and cannot imagine how it could be made right? What are the places of your heart that feel disappointment, that feel that hope is cut off? And what do you dream could happen? If you let go of your cynicism and despair, if you let yourself truly dream, what do you wish could happen in your life, in your family, in your community, in your world? This Advent, what is your hope?